Hello. I have a reading wrap up for you. A very belated reading wrap up. It's like the 14th as I'm filming and hopefully posting this. Um, I actually already recorded this once. I recorded 30 minutes. This was a 30-minute video. Um, and found out because I'm recording this on my MacBook. I found out that if you don't have headphones in while you're recording on a MacBook, it just doesn't pick up sound like at all. So, re-recording this to talk to you about, I think, like the 19 books I read in the month of June. This was a great reading month for me. I definitely got out of my slump finally. So, we're going to talk about the book that I actually really, really loved. And now, because of the author's behavior, I am really questioning how I want to proceed with the series, Magnolia Parks. Yeah. I loved this book. Loved it. There are so many tabs. You can't even see some of them because my camera just doesn't pick up on them. I loved it. It was so good. But it's probably, I would not be surprised if it's written by AI slop. Yeah, turns out, Miss Jessa Hastings, is having her brain rotted by AI because that's what AI does. She decided to be disgusting and use her ADHD as an excuse. And before you come at me, I have ADHD and I have written five, almost six books um, in total without AI, without even thinking of using AI for research, character names, writing, nothing. Yes, writing a book is hard. It's a job. It's supposed to be hard. Um, Yes, research sucks, but guess what? It's a part of the writing process. And if you want to skip out on a part of the writing process, you are not a writer. No one is forcing you to become an author. You don't have to do it. So, talk about this book and not. Oh, also, she posted AI fan art of a character, and then when she was called out and and her fans pointed out that hey, AI steals from creatives, she called them meanies and said she was gonna off the character because she's a literal child, and I don't think children should write books. So, I might continue this series. I will have to find the other books on a reseller platform because I'm not putting money in this woman's pockets. I'm literally not. That's disgusting. Um, and I don't think I have to say any more about that. The actual book itself, I liked, I related to. So many typos that I kept getting yanked out of the story, especially with the text bars. Anyway, moving on to some more books that I have very strong opinions about. My dog's next to me, so I'm petting her. Um, the last three books in the Ruthless Boys Zodiac series. Thank God I'm done with this series. I hated it so much. Like, genuinely hated it. It was so bad. Okay, so basically, this whole series follows. She went up there. This whole series follows Elise, I believe that's her name. And her brother basically gets like he dies. And so she's like, "Oh my gosh, I have to find out who my brother because I don't think he of natural causes." So she like goes like undercover and is like she meets literally I'm not even getting this for love interest because it's like she's licking her foot for some reason because it's like a reverse harem, which if you like that, fine. I don't. Um, and my main problem is that there was so much like smut. I have to physically stop myself from calling it porn because it was just so much. It was a lot. The third book I had to read four times before I could actually get through it. I soft DNF'd it three times, and one of them was actually a hard DNF for months, from like January or February to like June. And I literally just could not stand it. And then I just pushed myself through it because I knew if I went on with the series, I would have like awful FOMO. Um, yeah. So that book I rated a 3.75 star. I take it down to probably about like a 2, 2.5, maybe now. Just knowing the end of the series. The next book was a 4 star and it was the best out of the series. I liked the character development that was happening in it. There was no plot development. as well, there was plot development. There wasn't a lot for how big the book was. It was 700 pages. Yeah, for a 700-page book about like three things to actually develop the plot and not the romance happened. Yeah. And then the next book that's 1,000 pages, well, 955, if you want to be exact, was 3 stars. I rated it 3.5, but I honestly would rate it 1 star, knowing the ending of it, because why? Why am I reading? First of all, this series, one murder mystery, over the span of over 3,000 pages. Why am I reading all that? Excuse me? No, because you know what's happened? She's like, oh my gosh, I have to find out my brother. Like, I have to find this out. And then she turns and she's like, I'm gonna fuck that dragon. That's what happens. There's so many orgies in this book that the plot doesn't make sense. There's no plot development throughout the entire series. You can maybe get like two to three, four if you're lucky, things that actually happen in each book to develop the plot. But literally, all it is I'm gonna have sex with that person. Jealousy. Wait, we can't have a threesome. This can't be a romantic relationship with over multiple people. We can't do that here. And then Gabriel is like, I'm in the first book, he's like, I'm so obsessed with you. Like, first three. I'm so obsessed with you. Me and you, we're gonna be Elysian mates. And then something happens in the fourth book, and he's like, oh, I'm not left here. I'm not valued here. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna run away 5 times throughout the span of 2 books. And so we're going to have to pause the entire plot line and storyline to go and get him back because he wants to be a whiny little bitch and run away. Literally, it was so annoying. I don't like him. I like him in the Zodiac Academy series because I'm currently reading book 5. Um, I'll probably finish it today. And I do like him in the Zodiac Academy series. This series, no, he's annoying. He's an annoying little brat. Um, eh, he just was annoying. And then we have a little bit of plot development, like a little bit, and then in like the first 4 books, you get these like giant chapters in the brother's perspective, and then literally it's so useless to read them because in the next chapter of like Elise's point of view, she finds out what he like the entire like reason you just read his point of view. So it was literally useless. Um, yeah, did not like it. It sucked. Like actually sucked. I wish I would have stayed having DNF'd it. The only reason I didn't is because I knew I would have FOMO going back into Zodiac Academy series, which yeah, like going into it, yeah, it's a good reason. But I am almost kind of glad I did read it, depending on how the Darkmoor Penitentiary series goes, because I love Rosa. She was my favorite character out of the entire series, which says a lot with how I felt about this book. Because if I don't like the characters in a book series, I don't like the book. And it wasn't that I didn't like the characters. I didn't like Gabriel. Like I didn't like him, but everyone else I was like kind of okay with. But it just like there was no reason. It was so useless. Like, it could have been duology, if I'm being completely honest. Also, the person that like killed the brother, I'm done making the noise, that like killed the brother and was like the like king behind this whole like cult situation was so predictable. If you're going to have, this might be a possible spoiler. It's like a hint, kind of. Skip ahead if you don't want to hear it. So yeah, go. Literally, not even kidding. Um, if you're going to have this person that we've known all along be this big bad, give them equal amounts of page time throughout the entire series. Don't just randomly have in book 5 have him be like a father figure to her and be like all like, oh, I like him. Like he's so nice. And he's like forced down our throats because that makes it extremely obvious to who the person is. Spoiler over. Now let's talk about the other 3 physical books I have, and the third, fourth, and fifth book in a reread Percy Jackson series. Yeah, I have been rereading these for the past 2 months, I think. Yes, 2 months, May and June, and I'm gonna give you my wrap up. In the other book, I did like a 10-15 minute rant about how I don't like how people talk about the characters, specifically in this book. I'm gonna leave that for a TikTok video for the most part, but I'm gonna give you a quick overview. Okay, The Titan's Curse is my second favorite book in the entire series. It literally shatters my heart every single time I read this. Like almost every other page in this book is tabbed. I love it so much, and it really sets the scene for how the rest of the series feels because it's heartbreaking and it will shatter your heart. And I'm so not ready, like, I'm so excited, but also so not ready to see it on screen because even though I have gripes with Percy Jackson TV show, I don't like how much stuff they changed for no reason. I will be watching it because I just want to eat up every little bit of Percy Jackson media I can get. And then we have Battle Labyrinth. Now, I will do quickly say my thoughts on this. Again, tab check. I hate how people talk about the character in this book. When I first read this book, I was in the trenches of a reading slump, and a lot of the time when I'm in a slump, I don't process what I'm reading when I'm reading a book, and I'll just like completely forget everything it says. This was a big that happened to me in this one. And so when people were talking crap about the characters and being like, "Oh, this character's so annoying, this character's so this character's so that," I was like, I can't say you're wrong because I just don't know. Um, And I reread it. You're wrong, and you're stupid also. You're not stupid. You just need to reread. You've probably been reading fan fiction the entire time. Let's start with Rachel. Why do people hate her just because she got between Percy and Annabeth? And I also, not to pull the misogyny card, but I will. No one would ever say that about a man that got in the middle of a ship. And I see that so often, especially in MM ships. People will be like, this female character that's the actual like canonical um like um partner for one of the men. They'll be like, this character got in the middle of these two characters. Like the first person that comes to mind when I think of this is Lily Evans, and how people like for whatever reason decided that Regulus and James are a ship they want to support, and so they like crap on Lily even though we don't even know these characters. Like at all. Like you've never seen them. Well, I obviously don't know them because I've never like watched or read Harry Potter. But regardless, like sometimes I'll like peek into the fandom just see how they're doing, and then people are like, I hate Lily. I was like, literally why? And that's what happens to Rachel. People don't like her because she gets in between Percy and Annabelle. First of all, she's like a 14-year-old girl. All the characters in this book are 14. They're children. Literally, she points out to Percy, like, hey, this girl likes you, because he's like, I don't know what's going on with her. I'm sorry. She's like, you don't know what's going on with her. Um, Now, Annabeth, um, y'all y'all really like Mac. Like y'all either the only thing I can say is y'all have either been guzzling down so much fan fiction for the past, I want to say like 16 years. I'm pretty sure this was um printed. Yeah, 16 years or hmm, um 16 years. Or you just have no reading comprehension, and I don't know which one's worse. Annabeth is not abusive. I don't know why I've been seeing so many people who were lacking up here, decide to say, oh, Annabeth's abusive. And the points I get is how she acted in this book and the beginning of this book, which clearly you don't know the character. Clearly you don't understand the character you're critiquing. It is absolutely okay to critique Annabeth. She is a flawed character. That is what makes her a good character. But she's not abusive. She has horrendous, horrendous, horrendous abandonment issues. Like it's bad. Like it's really, really bad. That is like if they had like a secondary fatal flaw, that would be hers. It's bad. And so Percy throughout this series is like the one person she knows is not going to leave her. Proved it in this. And now there's a possibility that he could. Like she's like, I finally get my quest. Like she's been wanting a quest since she was 7. She finally gets it. And then this mortal girl that Percy goes to school with and met in here and memorized her phone number is like brought into it, and her and Percy are like flirting and whatnot, and then Percy spends his summer with her. And also I get going into Percy, okay, he spent what he believed to be his last summer with Rachel because he thought it was his last summer, and this boy has been abused. If we all remember Gabe, we should, because that especially if you read House of Hades. If you don't remember how horrible Gabe was, I think it should have been. I think honestly, Rick should have stayed on that a little bit more because a boy that's gone through all this and more. That okay, that's in the floor now. All this and more. His also yeah, you saw like the sunburn on my back. It's bad. Um, all this and more. Carlos, it smells like your greatest fear, and his greatest fear was his mortal stepfather from when he was like yay little. Um, he spent his last summer, what he believed to be his last summer alive with Rachel, because he wanted to be normal before he had to go and be a general and a child soldier. Okay. Second of all, he, like I said, he thinks he's gonna when he like in another like year, less than a year, um, in these two books. He does not know the prophecy, but that's what he believes is going to happen. He knows he's probably not going to make it out alive. Of course, the first thought on his mind, why are you scratching? What are you doing? Of course, the first thought on his mind is not going to be like his romance and a girl. And I understand this view of if he's so like, Percy, let's get together. Percy, let's get together. And how like I don't agree at all that she should have called him a coward. I think that that was, but I also see her viewpoint of she knows what the prophecy is. And she wants to get with this boy before that prophecy comes to fruition. And but he's also like in the middle of a war, he can't really focus on that right now. And I think people who don't realize that about these characters don't know the characters at all. Also, I forgot to mention this, the judo flip. Um, I need to remind you, these characters, yeah, they met each other at a war training camp. And their relationship is built off of survival and like fighting and like stuff like that, off of this from this war training camp. Of course, they're gonna rough house. Of course, and I do agree that it would have been bad had he like still had. I don't know how to say this without spoiling. Um, that there was a possibility his back. I know, but also like obviously that means he wouldn't have hurt as much. She didn't think it would hurt him. Remember that. Remember he laughed. Yeah, remember? Remember? Also, seaweed brain. How she calls him seaweed brain. I've heard people complain about it because oh, Gabe used to call him brain boy. It was very clearly taking. She's getting comfortable. It was very, very clearly Rick trying to take something that was so horrible for him, Gabe, because remember, um, turning it into something beautiful that he can be comforted by with Annabeth. So, yeah, y'all, like Percy Jackson fans, so many of them. The Last Olympian, what year did this even come out? I don't even remember. The last one, where is the copyright page? Came out in September of 2010. So, yeah, y'all have just been reading fan fiction for the past 15 years, other than I think like the Senior Adventure series and the Heroes of Olympus, which aren't like very consistent character wise, if I'm being completely honest. Rick forgets a lot of things. My legs are really hurting sitting like this. It's fine. Anyway, let's go to the next books that I have less feelings about, but I still obviously have feelings about in the rest of the books on this list. First, we have Wild Love, the third book in the Rosehill Branch series, and the last book I have to read from Elsie until September. The day after my birthday, though. Be on a cruise. Um, so I loved this. It was 5 stars. It all the books in this series have been 5 stars, and honestly, it's not as good as Chestnut Springs, but it is amazing. I Petting my dog. Um, I loved it. Okay, if I had to rank my top favorite books by her, I would go Reckless, the Elsie Reckless, the fourth book in the Chestnut Spring series, Wild Side, and then either Wild Love or Heartless next. I don't really know which one, but this one kind of made me like, do I like Marriage of Convenience when they hate each other? And another book in this list confirmed that for me, but we'll get there when we get there. Yeah, but this was like the best out of the series, even though the whole series is 5 stars. And then we have a 6 star, the Blood Trader. I don't know what I was trying to say. The Blood Trader. Loved it. Like I said, 6 stars. It's a 6 star series. I'm obsessed with it. Lynette Nani, amazing. And literally when I listened to this whole series on audio, which I highly recommend, the audiobooks are very good. I was literally in my bathroom at like 1 in the morning brushing my teeth to go to bed, listening to the ending of this series. I want to go to bed now, apparently. And I literally started jumping up and down in joy because a character that I hated since book one finally got what was coming to him, and I just. And then we have Wildfire, the second book in the Maple Hill series. No, I did not read an Icebreaker. Yes, you can read this without like spoiling anything. Like I didn't. I'm not going to read Icebreaker because I just don't want to. I'm not gonna like it. I know that. This was 3.5 stars. It was cute, but it didn't really hold my attention for that long. So I put it down. It was very easy to put down, but it was cute. What can I say? And then I mentioned how I didn't have anything um, else to read Bouncy Silver, so obviously I have to get another cowboy romance to hold me over, and that is Cash, the first book in the Lucky River Ranch series. There's three books out now. I think in like in November or December, Duke the fourth book in December, Duke the fourth book is coming out, and I think honestly there should be one more book after that because there's five brothers. But basically, this was a 4 star. The only issue I had with it was the plot, and honestly, like I don't want to say the plot because the plot wasn't bad, but it was the reason the characters met that was I was like, my back is really hurting. Oh, this is not a good way to sit for so long with the bad back. Anyway, the characters meet because her father was kind of like an absent father because her mother didn't want to live on the ranch. She wanted to live in the city. And so she moved away, and then the dad didn't really take much like care to like talk to his daughter, but he did. My mom texted me. He did kind of help raise these other five boys because their parents were like the parents, so they were like orphaned. And so Cash, the oldest, kind of expected the dad to um give him the ranch when he didn't. He gave it to his daughter, and then I really didn't like how the whole thing, how he like for the entire like first 50 to 100 pages of the book, he was like, "Why would he give her the ranch? Like he's a it's his daughter, Becca. It's his daughter, honey." And I didn't like that. So other than that, it was amazing. It was like the character dynamics of Rhett and Summer meets the character from Flawless Belle Silver with the characters of Willa and Cade. And like Cade, he's the oldest brother taking care of his younger brothers. My dog pushed somebody off the bed. And we have the Dixon Rule, the second book in the Campus Diary series, and the last book I'm going to be reading just because third book I do believe is Why Choose, and I just don't like Why Choose. It's not for me. Discovered that with the Ruthless Boys Zodiac series, actually. Didn't like it. This is a 4.75, and the reason I can't tell you why without spoiling it. So I'm just going to say in the last 50 to 100 pages, there was a topic that is, I don't want to say triggering because I feel like that word's been so overused, but oh, lay down. Um, that I didn't feel like reading about because of something going on in my personal life. And literally, not even kidding, I paused. Like, normally I read like a 50 to 100 pages at a time. Then my ADHD tells me, put the book down. So I do. And then, literally, right before I read the last like 50 to 100 pages, like I said, I had a mental breakdown about this certain thing in my life. And I was like, oh, I'm going to pick up my book and read to distract myself from it. And then, literally, like, not even like within a chapter of like picking it back up, this thing was shoved in my face. And it was written, I actually can't say how it was written. It's just something going on with one of my pets. And I was having a mental breakdown about it. And then something happened that was like, reminded me of that because it had like the same type of topic. And I was like, I was just trying to like escape from this. And if I hadn't read it while this thing was happening, like if I read this a few months ago, I would be completely fine. But knowing what's going on right now, I can't read that stuff. That's all I can say without spoiling it and without already like starting. Anyway, Vows and Ruins, the second book of the Legends of Thesamar series, Blossoms going to drive me up the wall. Quit, quit it. The whole book, my review literally says the whole book almost felt like filler, but the ending kind of made up for it. It didn't really make up for it. It's 3 stars, but 3 stars isn't a bad rating. I don't like when people say 3 stars is a bad rating. It's not. Um, I just like really the whole book is like a 2 star. Because nothing really happens. It's really just building up for books 3 and 4, and but then the ending was very good, like peak betrayal, like a very very good betrayal. So yeah, really liked it. And then talk about kind of filler, but the ending made up for it. And this ending actually made up for it and made it 5 stars. We have Children of Fallen Gods. I will read you my review. The beginning of the book was very much 4 stars because there was two storylines. I wasn't sure how they would go together, and then the last 100 to 150 pages happened. Oh my god! After that twist, it was 4.75, and that ending criminal. I mean, like there was a twist, and then it bumped it up to 4.5 stars, and then there was an ending, like an ending aside from the twist that bumped it up to 5 stars. Oh my gosh, that twist, like literally, when I tell you, the entire book you're following two point of views, and one is like separated from, we're following three point of views, but you have like female and male main character, random lady, okay? And you're like, how do these like intersect? And then they do in like the most amazing plot twist way, and you're like, there's just, I'm gonna freaking yawn again. Anyway, it was amazing. It was an amazing ending, and I was like gobsmacked. And then I have like a little filler there because I had to reread my own book to make notes for what I want to do editing wise. And I read it, so I'm counting it towards my reading goal. Anyway, 5 stars. Loved it. Kidding. And since that's pirate book, let's talk about the other pirate book I read and rated 2 stars, Compass and Blade. I'm so excited to read this book since like last year. I've almost wanted to read it for like almost a whole year. And it was very disappointing when I did read it because I read reviews and I'd heard what people had to say about it, and they were like, it's very repetitive. It's like betrayal, I forgive you, betrayal, I forgive you. They were absolutely right. It's also very short. It's only like it's 299 pages. Um, it was just repetitive, and I also don't remember like half of it. We have the last four now. And remember how I said when I was talking about Wildside, how there was a book I really, really loved that made me realize I loved Marriage and Convenience when they dislike each other. And that's Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. Oh my gosh, this is a 5 star. Okay, so basically, it's like Marriage of Convenience because he, I don't remember why he needed to marry her. Um, oh, okay. He needs like a marriage visa. I actually like didn't even remember. It doesn't. I didn't even read all of it to see why, but I now remember it. He needed a like a marriage visa for his citizenship, and she needed her inheritance because her grandpa said she can't get her inheritance without being married for a certain amount of time. So they're like, okay, let's like get married. And they dislike each other, and they actually dislike each other for a good reason. But like a lot of the time I read romance and even fantasy sometimes, which is really annoying where they're like, enemies to lovers. You hate each other because he ate your pancake one time. Shut up. Anyway, then we have the reason I reread these. So when I originally oh, when I originally read the Percy Jackson series, I really only read the books that follow like the Greco-Roman timeline. So I read the Percy Jackson series, The Trials of Apollo, Heroes of Olympus, and Nico's book. Um, and it's fine. So when I was rereading it, I wanted to read the Kane Chronicles and the Magnus Chase series. And so I started with the first book in the Kane Chronicles, The Red Pyramid. Oh my gosh, this was so good. It was 4 stars. Loved it. I don't think I actually have any criticisms about it. It just didn't give me a 5 star feeling. I loved it though. It was super cool. Oh my gosh. Like Almost no one's read this, honestly. Like, it's so weird. No one talks about it, and it's so good. Basically, why am I yawning so much? Okay. Basically, I can't even, like, they're reading this, like, I don't even know how to describe it, honestly. It's very fun. Since his mother's death 6 years ago, Carter Kane has been living out of a suitcase, traveling the globe with his father, the brilliant, e- I can't speak, Egyptologist. Dr. Julius Kane, but Sadie has been living with her grandparents in London. Sadie has just what Carter wants, school friends and a chance of a normal life, but Carter just has just what Sadie longs for, time with her father. After 6 years living apart, the siblings have almost nothing in common, but now on Christmas Eve, Sadie and Carter are reunited when their father brings them to the British Museum with a promise that he's going to make things right, but all does not go according to plan. What just fell? Okay. Um, Carter and Sadie watch as Julius summons a mysterious figure who quickly banishes their father and causes a fiery explosion. Soon, Carter and Sadie discover that the gods of ancient Egypt are waking, and the worst of them, Set, has a frightening scheme. To save their father, they must embark on a dangerous journey, a quest that brings them ever closer to the truth about their family and links it to the House of Life, a secret order that has existed since the time of pharaohs. Very fun. Loved it. It was just fun. It was a fun time. It was like first two Percy Jackson books. Like, it's not breaking like these three are. It was just like a fun time. And then we have another fun time, The Five-Star Weekend by Hildebrand. Very fun. It was a drama, and I really liked it. It was very dramatic. A lot of affairs, and I mean a lot. Um, and then we have The Right Move. This is, oh my gosh. I'm so annoyed. Okay. This was 3.75 stars. I just didn't like how one page, it's like basically he's like Johnny Kavanagh, but like adult. He cares about his sport and his sister. And his sister has a best friend. She's like, she needs a place to live. Which my best friend wrote with you. And he's like, okay, whatever. I don't want you here. And she's like, making it very clear he doesn't want her here. And then it flips on a dime. And he's very much like acts of service, very sweet, like gift giving, like all that type of stuff. And I'm like, you didn't want her in your house a day ago. And then then they had coupley conversations way too soon. And it was just, I don't know, it was cute, but I definitely think I shouldn't have read it after that really good romance. Cute, but I definitely don't think I should have read it after that really good romance. And that is all. That was a lot and still a long video, but I will see you guys later. Bye.